Hi friends, in our time together today, I'm going to continue looking into answering the question, is there a group of low D whistles that I would recommend to you as your first low D whistle? Please remember from the outset that I have some prejudices. I know that a lot of people just want to buy an inexpensive whistle to test it out. For me, I want to purchase at least an intermediate whistle because, to be honest, they're easier to play. They sound better, and you're not going to have to replace it 6 months, a year from now. It's a whistle you can grow with and replace later, and it'll have better tone quality from day one. And you won't be worrying, is it me or is it the whistle? So I'm trying to find whistles, inexpensive low D whistles that meet those criteria. And to be honest, I have the Dixon here in front of me, a couple others we've played, and I'll do a consolidation discussion at some point. But I have another whistle coming that's actually the same price as the Dixon, so I'm fascinated about that. So that should be early next week. That would probably be in the next 5-6 days. Anyway, I'm going to unbox the Dixon I just got from McNeela. It looks really nice. They did a really good job boxing it. And I'll be right back because this is going to take a minute. I'm back, friends. I've familiarized myself with the whistle some, and it's very playable. I almost purchased this as my first whistle, and now that I've played it for 15 minutes, I think if I had purchased the Dixon DX102 as my first whistle, I'd be quite content. I do need to remind you of my prejudices, and they'll come out a little bit in my review of this whistle. Remember, I'm a saxophone player and a woodwind player in my history. And so for me, in those instruments, if I ever wanted a gritty sound, I made it as I played it. The instrument itself was to be clear, clean tone. If there was anything buzzing, then my reed was split, and I knew I had to fix that. If I wanted a richer tone, I might put a different mouthpiece on. So bear all that in mind, because for me, I think you need to look at two criteria out of all the criteria I've talked about before in deciding on your first whistle. 3. Okay, sorry, 3. 4. Money. Let's throw money in. This is just over $100. So if you are only willing to spend $100, the Dixon DX102 should be a main competitor. Secondly, am I planning on keeping this whistle and playing for a long time and growing with it? Will the Dixon DX102 grow with you? Well, will you grow with it? Yes, to an extent. But I don't think you would grow as well with this one as you would with the Howard or some other whistles. But that means spending more money. So if the $100-ish price point is like your goal, then this is an excellent option. I do have another whistle coming in the next few days that I want you to compare, because the Dixon DX102 provides some tone qualities that I think are going to be the determining factor as to whether you want this whistle. So price, will you grow with it? The tone qualities and ease of play. Ease of play, I think, okay, I'm going to run the scale for you. C natural, I found covering the 2nd, 3rd, 4th holes. On the lower octave and half holing the second octave. Missed my finger there. And everything else plays really well. Good tone. Didn't take me long. The hole spacing is minimally different to my Howard. Some of that is based on thickness of the material, the diameter of the tube, in order to hit the tones of the scale, you have to do slightly different hole placement, and even the hole sizing comes into play on some of that. But this is not a physics lesson. So good tone, but listen to a few of these notes. I find, and there I've learned, even just in 10 to 15 minutes, I've learned to draw it back just a little. It requires fairly minimal air pressure, but you do have to give it some in order to maintain a good tone quality. If you give it too much, it's going to start getting a little gritty in the tone. Just a little bit of rumbling in the air there. And that's okay. You might want that. See, that's why I'm talking about that tone quality. This has just a bit more grit to the tone than my Howard does. My Howard I bought because I used the balanced mouthpiece, and it's a really clean, mellow tone. And if you want to lean toward more of a high D traditional sound profile, you might prefer the Dixon DX102 as your first whistle. Now I'd like to play through a couple of pieces of a couple of tunes that I've played for you before so that you can hear the tone a little bit more. I have before played a little bit of I Sing of That Night in Bethlehem, and it's a great tune for hearing some tone quality, so I'm going to play through a bit of that. Okay, I hope you were able to hear some of that. And again, I do like the tone of it. It's just a little grittier than my Howard. And you did notice in there that I'm not 100% comfortable yet with the hole spacing. And so any of those missed notes were on account of that. Now I want to play just some of the intro of Dennis Murphy's polka. I'm not going to go through the repeats. I'm going to play through the A part and then just go into the B part so that you can hear some of that. Okay, see, very playable. I had no issues playing that fast piece, playing the slow piece, and I really like how the vibrato plays on this. I'm going to do vibrato off of the G using the 5th and 6th fingers. That's really good. It's a little more muted on my Howard. So again, I think for me, remember my history. I am after the clean, clear tone that can lean mellow because of my history. I would have been quite happy having purchased the Dixon DX102 as my first whistle. As I said, I think I prefer my Howard. Well, I do prefer my Howard. And I do have another whistle coming in. that I believe is another great option for you. But if you like the tone quality of the Dixon, it's easy to play. I think you'd be very happy with it. And I'm very interested in the comments from some of you. I know some of you have the Dixon DX102 and absolutely love it. If you have it and you love it, please comment on this video, even if you've commented before, because I think this is a video where that needs to be heard. If you have it and you change to a different whistle, don't complain about the Dixon, but I want to hear that as well. It's not just that I want to hear it. Well, it informs me, but our community needs to hear that. It's so, so helpful. Again, the Dixon DX102, great whistle. No whistle does everything. I'm going to talk about that in another video. There is no such thing as a perfect whistle. They're all compromises. The folks at Tony Dixon have tried to make this one as affordable as possible for us. And that means they make a few more compromises than they otherwise would have. And I believe some of it is in the mouthpiece, simply by nature of the material of the mouthpiece. I'm going to do some experimenting with some other things. That's not for this video, though. I am going to do some comparing between the whistle I have coming early next week and my Howard, side by side playing, and with some switching and swapping of mouthpieces if they fit, because I want you to hear that. So anyway, don't run out and buy this. But if you fell in love with the sound of this and you fell in love with the money, this needs to be close to the top of your consideration. But listen to some other folks playing it as well. Don't just listen to me. Because after all, you're spending $100 plus shipping. Until next time, my friends, this is Scott Shade. Happy low D whistling.